Great radio stations across the land, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. It's all right there. Also, Newsmax TV. Glad to have you here. The Joe Pags Show. Coming your way on a Tuesday. Crazy training it on a Tuesday. Let's go. La da 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 dee 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 da da. Great to have you. That is Chocolate Voice, the entire crew here today. How you doing, Carrie?
Pretty good, pretty good.
What was the Washington Post headline yesterday? Austere scholar, leader of ISIS.
Religious scholar, yeah.
Dead at 48. He was a shy young boy wearing glasses who enjoyed soccer. What's the headline going to be today? Man who worked years and years to earn a promotion in his organization dies at 39. I don't think they actually said that. But the Post could have said that because that's kind of who the Washington Post is. If you haven't heard, the second in command in ISIS is dead now too. He actually wasn't the second in command. He got the promotion. You imagine, honey, you're not going to believe it. Al-Baghdadi's dead. I just got moved up. We're moving up to the big cave. We're going to get, oh yeah.
Not for long.
Oh yeah. Let's us, the other 7 wives, and our 32 kids, let's go move to the big cave. I think we actually get a donkey too. What did he last 23 hours? There was a guy on Twitter who I thought this was very funny. He said, I wonder if you can still get the pension if you only last in the job 23 hours. Pretty sure the family gets the pension. You don't think so? You're saying no?
I'm
so
no.
For those who don't know, the second in command, the president, well, more specifically, the Army Rangers, took out al-Baghdadi. A wonderful military dog, was a key player in this. Carrie, I'm hearing stories that the dog had the camera on his head. Is that the story?
That I don't know.
I think the dog was actually the one transmitting the video, which would be amazing.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing they had a bunch of sources of the video. But the dog was injured, is alive, is okay. It's going to be okay. And is getting all the proper props. I love that a dog was instrumental in taking out this piece of garbage. But to al-Baghdadi, dead, and they promoted a guy.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't find a good story on this or with a good source, but I do know the president tweeted this morning, just confirmed that Abu al-Baghdadi's #1 replacement has been terminated by American troops. Most likely would have taken the top spot. Now he is also dead.
So let's talk about that. Imagine that. The President of the United States, leader of the free world, tweets out something that he must have knowledge of, or else he would not have tweeted it out, that the #1 replacement for al-Baghdadi is now dead as well. He's terminated. Carrie, you're a journalist. Is that a news story? Is that something that you would jump on, you think?
Yes, it's a big news story, actually.
You're covering national news. You're a network. You're a newspaper that alleges to be the paper of record, the Post of the Times. You're a national outlet, CNN, MSNBC. I mean, we're on Newsmax TV for this hour, so we'll certainly report it. But did even Fox report it? I don't know. I think so. They normally will report it on his tweets. But you can't find a source at all to talk about the details of this story? How is that possible?
I am still looking, actually.
I'm a little bit dismayed by that.
I am too. And
by the way, had it been unprovable or unproven, the left would have gone nuts, would have absolutely gone bonkers that he tweeted that out. So let me throw that to those who are watching and listening. The president has upheld his promises one after the other. I'm going to lower taxes. He did. Going to fix the economy. He did. The GDP is going to start to grow again at a much faster rate than Obama. That's happening. Unemployment's going to go down, and it has. Minorities have exponentially benefited from the tax breaks and from the new economy. Manufacturing will come back. Didn't need a magic wand. He just did it right. It's happened. More jobs are coming in. We're actually fighting trade wars with other countries and winning. That's awesome. He moved the embassy to the capital of Israel, the rightful capital, Jerusalem. Like 12 presidents before him said they would, but didn't. He did it. And he said, we're going to decimate ISIS. One of the first things he said when he took office, we need to take ISIS out, which he's done. So what's the argument? I guess I'm not really sure I understand the argument. I told you this last hour, Kerry. I posted Let It Go, my PAGS parody from last week, up on YouTube last night. It's also the pinned tweet on my Twitter, @Joe Talk Show. It's right there near the top, @Joe Talk Show on Facebook. So go check out Twitter or Facebook. You'll see this parody. And people are watching it, whatever, they're enjoying it. But I watched it to the end to make sure that it uploaded correctly on YouTube. And then the next video that just automatically started happened to be Tucker Carlson interviewing a guy from November of 2016. Mm-hmm. It was right after the election. And this guy was some Silicon Valley, California tech guy that does some SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. It's something that you really need if you want to show up early in the search engine when you're trying to promote your product or your service. Well, this SEO company owner went on and was interviewed, and he said he will not do business with a Trump supporter. Kerry, this is before the man took office. Think about that. He was calling him a fascist. He was calling him Hitler, making direct comparisons, and the man had not taken office. So this has been going on for more than 3 years now. Some would say it's been going on since 2015, in June, when the president, then citizen Trump, came down the escalator. People have been going after this guy and trying to harm him somehow politically, and if personal goes with it, fine, we'll harm you personally too, for 3 and 4 years. Before that, they all loved him. They all wanted his money. They all wanted to hang out with him. They all wanted to be around the women that were around him. They wanted to be part of the pageants. They wanted to be part of The Apprentice. Everybody wanted a piece of the Trump name. Now, I mean, can you imagine how deluded you must be that before the guy takes office and does one thing, not anything, you're already telling potential customers, I will not deal with you if you're a Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. So that's where we are today. We're in a place where being anti-Trump, like I saw the second guy was taken out and the tweet was happening, and a lot of the tweets after that were, that's great, but you're still going to jail. Yeah, that's great, but you're still not my president. Yeah, that's great, but you're still getting impeached. And look, I get groupthink. Groupthink is explained best, I think, with that psychological test that college students do, where you go to an elevator, you have 10 students, all 10 are facing backwards in the elevator. A person gets on that's not part of the study and automatically turns around because they think that's the right thing to do. Groupthink is very effective. Or the guy that had neck surgery walks out of the neck doctor's office like, with his head up, and people in the street see him looking up, and they all look up to find out what he's looking at, when in essence he just has a sore neck. That's groupthink. That's the best way, I think, to describe groupthink. And I get it if you're in a group of 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 people, maybe more. It's millions in this case. And they're all saying Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, mean orange man bad. Then you want to say that as well. But what I've always tried to do, and I'm no smarter than anybody else. In fact, Kerry tells me I'm, in fact, the opposite. And you tell me that all the time, right? I mean, you could verify that, right?
Every day. Every single day.
Even on Saturday and Sunday, I get a call. Hey,
that's right.
Pags, you're kind of stupid.
Just so you know.
I get that every weekend.
Just so you don't forget.
Hope you're having a good weekend. You're kind of a dumb guy. So, but I've said this many times, and this is really how I live. I'm going to take your word for it, and then I'm going to check it out. It's like what Reagan said, trust but verify. Yeah, exactly right. I trust what Kerry says, and we've worked together long enough that I'm going to believe her as a source, but I also do my own checking, and I hope that she does the same with me. Now, if you're watching or listening, same thing. If I say something about the economy, about taxes, about Trump, about Obama, about Hillary, don't let me get away with it. Check it out. Then you'll find out that I was right because I'm going to do the research anyway. But having said all of that, if somebody tells me, you had it wrong, the sun isn't really bright, the sun is really kind of dim, the moon is the brighter one, I'm going to say, well, that's interesting. But I know better because here are the facts. I know better because here's the proof. There are so many people who are saying, I want socialism, I want communism, I hate Trump, Hillary should have won, Bernie is the man, Elizabeth is the this. And then when you ask them, just give me a speck of information that backs up what you said, they immediately, what do? Racist! You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're an Islamophobe. You're a xenophobe. Just all of it. All of it. That you're every name in the book. And then when you say, but I'm actually just trying to have a conversation with you. Like I'll give you one more example. John Legend knows nothing about politics, nor, I believe, the true history of our country. But he's a great singer, and I enjoy him on The Voice. And when I watch John Legend on The Voice, I think to myself, I'd like to actually have a conversation with that guy. And he and I went back and forth on Twitter once or twice. I think it was once. So therefore, we're pretty tight. Carrie, that qualifies, right?
No, it does not. No.
So you're saying that we're not
no,
tight then?
You're not. No.
But why not, instead of doing a quick tweet, like I've had a back and forth like that with Rosario Dawson. Rosario, right? That's her name? Rosario?
Rosario Dawson?
I don't know. But she's dating Cory Booker, which actually takes her down several notches in my book. I'm just going to put it out there. But having said that, because who's dating Spartacus? Come on, Carrie. Who is dating
Rosario.
That guy? So anyway, I've had a back and forth with her, and at the end she was like, people who believe differently can be friends. I said, yeah, let's be friends. And then she ignored me from then on out. But
yeah,
I would like, why not come on a show like this or go to a different show if you think somebody else is more important? That's fine. But why not have a conversation? Why doesn't John Legend mix it up on history with me, on oppression, on what we did and didn't do in this country and who did or didn't do it? Or Rosario Dawson. I say Rosario. I don't know why. Maybe it's a New York thing. You say Rosario?
I don't know.
Rosario. But why not go on a show like this? Why not really have that conversation? Why live in an echo chamber? You're like, well, you're in an echo chamber, Pags. You only talk to people. Well, the people that I have on are the ones willing to come on. I've had the left on this show. Generally speaking, they call in. They're not specific at all. They generalize everything. They stereotype everybody and then try to shut you down by calling you an hysterophobe. So I'm not really sure why so many people fall into the category of lemmings or minions or drones, but they do. And I just wish that they would assess this guy, because that really told me scores, volumes yesterday, watching that piece of video from 3 years ago now. This guy hated Trump. Trump's a fascist. Trump is Hitler. I won't do business with you if you supported Trump. And this was before the man ever took office. Now, once he's in office, you want to complain about what he's doing. That's fair game. I want to hear you. But other than that, it's delusion. It's true delusion, which is weird to me. 888-941-PAGS, 888-941-7247. Got number one, got al-Baghdadi. I've got a PAGS parody about that coming up. The people are hungering. They're thirsting for the PAGS parody about Got Baghdadi. Okay? They are. You just, you made a face like you smelled something. You okay?
Oh, sorry. I couldn't
Funky smell in the room?
No, just thinking about that parody.
Yeah, I guess you are. So we've got that. And your thoughts on what I just said. People prejudging this guy before he ever took office, and the relentlessness of the left in this droning on this narrative that he is bad because we say he is. We don't have to prove it to you. He just is. 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. Coming back. joepags.com. Glad to have you along for the ride. Thanks. Your thoughts about the left and their relentlessness in going after this president and the delusion of those who follow blindly. Again, I realize the Democrats are going to be who they always have been. They're hate-filled. They're intolerant. They're inconsistent. Actually, they're consistent in their unaccepting of anybody other than those who think like them. It is the party of the KKK, of segregation, of lynchings, of Jim Crow, of slavery. It's the party that has always held down minorities and always been for centralized power and not power within the people's grasp. That's just who they are. It's who they've always been. Yeah, Pags, there was a great switch, the big switch. No, there wasn't a switch. There never was. The Republicans are still who they were, so are the Democrats. This alleged big switch, if it happened, when did it happen? What was the venue? What did they say to each other? What exactly is it that made that switch out? Was there a party? Was there a get-together? Hi, I'm Bob. I'm Bill. Listen, I'm going to be a Democrat. You be a Republican. Sounds good. High five. Didn't happen. So that's a lie, obviously. But the president got al-Baghdadi. And the left, of course, is having a hard time giving him any credit. But he got him, And somebody yesterday wrote me and made this suggestion. Carrie, they made this suggestion. I thought the suggestion was great. I thought the suggestion made sense. They didn't give me the words, obviously. The rule is you can give me a suggested song and what the topic is. I thought it made sense. So I went ahead and put it together. And you loved this in the first hour, which I thought was great.
No, I did not. No.
Hags parody. Got Back Daddy. It's what I do for the people. Now, as usual, I will not play it again if the people don't like it and don't want it. It was 98, 99% wanted this again. And I don't blame them because it's quality good. But you can shake your head all you want. Learn how to learn good music, woman. Let's go. God, Baghdadi, Bamalam, God, Baghdadi, Bamalam, cried like a child, Bamalam, the word no smile, Bamalam, he was word out his mind, Bamalam, the man wasn't kind, Bamalam, I said Baghdadi, Bamalam, God, Baghdadi, Bamalam. Stretching the reaches of my voice, this deep baritone, some would say bass, to bring the people the music.
Seriously.
Seriously what? I'm bringing it for the people. I think they deserve quality.
They do.
I'll give them another verse and we'll get out of this. Come on. And again, you're welcome, people. That's what I do. Bye, Baghdadi, Bamalam. Tell Baghdadi, Bamalam, he behind his children. Bamalam could not stay hidden. Bamalam, he killed all three. Bamalam, as he tried to flee. Bamalam, demagogue Baghdadi, Bamalam, like a dog Baghdadi, Bamalam. Like a dog Baghdadi, Bamalam. It's the words, it's the lyrics of the song. And you're welcome. Let me just say this because I already hear the showering praise. I just want to say you're very welcome.
Not from over here. Oh, okay.
No, it's not from over there. You know why? Because that's the haters section of the group.
Okay.
It goes Pags, lover, love. Carrie, Polo, hater, hater. Sam, love. So that's what we do. It's how we bring it for the people, and you're very welcome.
Pretty much.
Let me go to the phone line. It's going to be line 2. Tanya's in California. Tanya, what's happening? Hi.
Hi. Well, I'm enjoying the Joe Pags show.
Thank you.
And your song, it's really a time when we should be rejoicing that here where the righteous rule and a man of understanding and knowledge is in leadership, our President Trump, what a great song.
Well,
although I got to tell you, I came through graduating back in the 70s. I hate to admit it.
Okay.
But hey, that's when I graduated. Right. I don't recognize that song, Joe Pags. You
don't recognize Black Betty?
No.
Okay, the original is Black Betty. You can look it up, but that's okay. If you liked it, I'm glad you liked it. I've got about 35 seconds left. What do you have for me?
Well, it's just that I am hoping that every day that the Congress is going to turn around what they're doing and get on board with this president and want to do be part of the great things he's doing.
Yeah.
I've gotten tax money back that I hadn't gotten back for years. And so it was nice when President Trump became president, and I actually got refunds again that I used to get forever and ever. And just like you said, things again and again that this president said that he was going to do, that he's done. And I'm so proud of our president.
Tanya, I hear you. I have to run. I have to go, but I love you in California. I do. I'm right up against a hard break. Thank you for your phone call. Look up Black Betty. Carrie, who doesn't know Black Betty?
Oh, I knew it. I got it.
Just saying. Mm-hmm. All right, when we come back, Sheriff David Clarke, a good long conversation about that police chief's conference, about ISIS, and much more. Stay here. Stations across the land, joepags.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, all that, much more. Also, Newsmax TV. It's the Joe Pags Show. Glad to have you here. Glad to have back Sheriff David Clarke, of course, America's Sheriff. He is retired from Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Sheriff, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Joel. Thanks for having me.
Let me just say this. Smart hat. It's a new hat. I love it. I could never wear the hat because I've shown you what I look like in a hat, but that's a nice one. I like it. That's new, right?
It's brand new. It's now the new prior to the fleet. I own a lot of hats and a lot of pair of boots.
Isn't that the way it goes? The newest one is always the pride, and then that goes into the closet or whatever when you get the next one, right?
Well, the thing is, with each hat, you move up in quality of the material and the style. Okay. It was custom made. I went down to I was out in Montana, and actually had them they use the digital cameras and whatnot and get your head size perfect, and then they can make that hat and it fits like a glove.
I got to go visit them. I've got a station in Helena, so I've got to go visit that Montana because nobody can measure my head. They don't have rulers and tape measures big enough. So we'll figure it out eventually. Now America wants to know, because it's americasheriff.com. Make sure you go there, get his book, Cop Under Fire, and go check out the great articles. But America wants to know, do you rotate the hats, or do you just stick with the newest one?
No, I rotate them.
Nice. Because I don't want any of the hats to feel left out. All right, let's get into the real topics now. Just south of you, not too far, you've got Chicago, where you've got 500-something murders a year. Obama did nothing, ignored Chicago until he was leaving office, then did one speech there, although it's his so-called hometown. Sheriff, have you ever heard of a guy who was a big White Sox fan who couldn't name one White Sox player when he was growing up? I'm just throwing that out there because he was actually in the press box once, and he said, I'm a South Sider, I'm a White Sox fan. He said, oh, well, who were some of your favorite players growing up? The poor announcer. Just an obvious question. He said, I don't really know. Couldn't name one player. Sheriff, I can name every player in the 1977 Yankees roster as I was growing up. That I found to be odd. Anyway, I'm sorry. I had to go off on a tangent on Obama. You have this get-together of the police chiefs. This, generally speaking, is non-political. You go there, you enjoy it, you learn what tactics are being used by different departments. The president's going to show up and speak. You know damn well you want to go take a picture with him and shake his hand. The superintendent of Chicago decided he's not going to go because he doesn't agree with the president's values. And then the mayor decides to double down and talk about what a horrible guy he is. Is that proper protocol?
No, it's not. Shame on Eddie Johnson. Look, Eddie Johnson is clueless. He has his head in the sand about what's going on in the city of Chicago as it relates to crime and violence. The only one talking about it is the President of the United States. Everyone else, the liberal media, the Chicago politicians, the city council, the mayor, Congressman Bobby Rush, who recently said that the Chicago police are the enemy of the people. So they're all whistling past the graveyard as the bodies stack up. Over 2,500 people a year shot in non-fatal shootings in the city of Chicago, but for the good medical attention there, that 500 figure would be higher. So they're trying to deflect and detract away from all the violence, and they tried to put it on Trump. Look, that mayor, she's new. When she came in, she should have said, Superintendent Johnson, you have 90 days to get me a plan to reduce this violence in this city. I want measurables attached. You have 6 months to make a difference. If not, you're going to be fired. But instead, she, like him, head in the sand, while the good law-abiding people in about 5 neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, about 78 miles from here, I get there often, I know the city, are living the terrible quality of life situation. And so until these people get real about what's happening and skip the platitudes and skip the deflecting, more good law-abiding people in Chicago are going to fall victim to this.
His website is americasheriff.com. Go there. Go check out every article he writes. They're amazing. We'll talk about the latest one in Town Hall in just a second. Also get his book, Cop Under Fire. Cop Under Fire. I don't get to Chicago often. I've been there a few times. I'm not an expert on the city at all. But as an outsider looking in, what I deduce, and I don't think this is off, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that they don't want to fix it. If they wanted to fix it, Sheriff, wouldn't they have fixed it by now? It's almost as if they're cool with 500, 600 people dying every year in this horrible gang violence, whether it's a 9-year-old doing her homework, killed because somebody did a drive-by, shot through the wall, or some gangbanger dying in the streets. If they wanted to fix it, couldn't they?
Well, it's not that they don't want to. They don't know how. Okay. Some of the liberal policies that are in place, things like low bail, things like eliminating jails, as a crime control tool, talking about this inane mass and black male incarceration. Those are policies that work against crime and violence, and that's why the criminal element stays in charge in the city of Chicago. Chicago can go out and arrest 100 people tonight, 100 of the most notorious gang members that are responsible for a lot of this violence, and by the end of the week, all 100 would be let out of jail back onto the streets to commit more crime. And that's why I said it's not that they don't want to. They simply don't know how.
So immediately, if you were in charge, you would go in there, arrest these people, keep them behind bars. Why are they getting out so fast?
Well, yeah, what you're talking about is quality of life enforcement. They know who the players are. Even Eddie Johnson has said that. Notorious career criminals, repeat offenders. Many of them have warrants. You go out, pick them up on warrants. You have to get together with the courts and make it clear to the courts, make it clear to the prosecutor's office. We want high bail set on these individuals so they're not quickly back out on the street. Yeah. You do warrant sweeps. You get together with probation and parole, and you go and you start making home checks on everybody on probation and parole. All these guys have criminal records, and this is all allowable by the Constitution. You search their homes for drugs and or weapons. The same with traffic stops. You make stops based on reasonable suspicion, and you search these cars for guns and or drugs. Look, these guns that are used in these drive-by shootings, they're being transported in a car, for heaven's sakes. That's not hard to figure out. I've done these sorts of things. These things work. But again, and then you get together with the federal prosecutor, the guys that are the worst of the worst, when they get caught with a gun or some other felony, you send them for federal prosecution where there is more of a likelihood that they're going to get a long prison sentence. Look, this is not rocket science, Joe. This is doable. But they simply don't have the will, and they simply don't know how to do it. If you don't have a plan, and that's why I said the mayor should have said, Superintendent Johnson, 90 days, get me a plan, and then we're going to keep up with it for 6 months. If I don't see a reduction, you're fired.
Yeah, it is Sheriff David Clarke. Great. I mean, that's great. And I wish that they would listen. I wish they would do it. I think Rudy Giuliani did just that when he was the mayor of New York, and that turned that city around. When it comes to what's happening in Chicago, however, I saw one of the speeches yesterday, just a part of it, from a police chief from somewhere. He got on stage and he said the Obama administration was the most anti-law enforcement administration we've ever had in the 200 years of our country. That might have actually been an interview on television. But I saw a guy who was either a former Chicago superintendent or a former police chief or commissioner. He said those words exactly. Do you agree? And if that's true, that the Obama DOJ was the most anti-police DOJ we've ever seen, how do you turn that tide? Because people like this mayor are Obamaites. Eddie Johnson is an Obamaite. These people are going to keep on saying the things that he said and what Holder said and Loretta Lynch said, and then they're going to try to enforce the law at the same time. How do you do that?
Well, look, this stuff doesn't turn around on a dime. Fortunately, we have a commander-in-chief who spoke at this International Association of Chiefs of Police conference, and he not only does he just talk about it, but he shows by action that he supports the men and women at the local level. But look, here's the thing. Obama started this war on cops in the ugly days following Ferguson, Missouri. Yeah. Obama was fueling the flames of this anti-cop rhetoric. Remember when he said about the Cambridge police who made an arrest, that the police acted stupidly? He also ended the 1033 program, which allows local agencies struggling with budgets to obtain surplus military equipment like ballistic shields, ballistic helmets, things they can't afford in their budgets, but things that will keep their officers safe. He ended the program. He also never ordered his DOJ to implement a law passed by Congress and signed by him that would make it easier for local law enforcement agencies to exchange information when a guy, a dangerous individual, was fleeing state to state. Yeah. His DOJ under Eric Holder never implemented. I could go on and on to demonstrate, not just rhetorically, how Obama straight up hated cops.
And that was, you're right. When it came to the Ferguson situation, you had 3 people from the White House go to Michael Brown's funeral. Michael Brown caused that. He was high. He attacked a police officer in his vehicle. And the police officer, all witnesses now show, and Eric Holder deduced, and actually the investigation showed proof that this cop was defending himself. Still to this day, Sheriff, there are people who believe Michael Brown was executed in the street because he was a black guy. And it doesn't make any sense, but I guess the question of how do we change that is we have conversations like this. It's Sheriff David Clarke, americansheriff.com. Go there. Your latest town hall blog or your article is about infringed civil liberties and the spy program. What is this about?
Joe, I'm real big on defending civil liberties in this country, especially as it relates to privacy when it comes to the federal government. And there was an investigation done where it showed that over 10,000 times federal agents violated the Fourth Amendment prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant and spied into people's metadata with no cause. That's serious stuff. I know it's not sexy stuff. It doesn't get the headlines that it should, but it's very important. See, I don't trust the federal government. I don't trust most governments. I do not trust the federal government. If we look at what's gone on just in the last couple of years as to what went on in the FBI and trying to undo an election, when we look at things like the Patriot Act and its ugly stepsister, the USA Freedom Act, that allows the government without a warrant and with very little oversight to spy on American citizens. That is very undemocratic. I'll tell you what, it makes my skin crawl to think that they can do these things, and there's really no blowback and no pushback on it. So it's my latest column. But again, a lot of people will say, and I've heard them say that, well, the government has to do a little bit. I'm willing to sacrifice some of this to stay safe. No, not me. Benjamin Franklin's the one that said anyone who would give up essential liberties for a little security deserves neither liberty or security. And I believe in that. The interesting thing about that is the only time in my 40-year law enforcement career where I sided with the ACLU in being against the Patriot Act, and then the follow-up to it, the USA Freedom Act. That's, those are strange bedfellows there when David Clark's on the side, the ACLU and vice versa on the issue of civil liberties. That's important to me.
I will make sure that we spread that column around, and I want everybody to go and read that. It's very important. I was for the Patriot Act on a temporary basis. It was supposed to sunset. It never sunset. They kept on renewing it. That changed the game for me. I think you probably were right from the very beginning. I've only got a minute and a half maybe. We have to talk about al-Baghdadi is dead as a doornail, as the president said, died like a whimpering dog, and then the next guy steps up, and now we killed him today or yesterday. I'm waiting for the next idiot to put his hands up to say, I want to run ISIS now. This president is doing exactly what he said he would do when it comes to Syria, Turkey, the Kurds, and ISIS, right?
It's one of the reasons why here in the United States, anyway, we haven't seen a lot or heard a lot from ISIS talking big, talking smart like they did under the Obama administration. They had no fear. It shows that the president has his eye on the ball. He realizes that ISIS is never going to go away permanently, but when they stick their ugly heads up, going to chop it off. Good for him.
Yeah, every time. And Obama, you're right. The previous administration didn't do anything. He even called them ISIL, which means the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. The Levant freaking means that they own way more swath of land than just Syria. I mean, he was giving them more credit than they deserve geographically. ISIS is who they are, and the president promised he would decimate them. He has. And the idea that al-Baghdadi's dead, the next guy's dead, I guess the press, whoever their media person was, if you can believe ISIS has a media person, that guy was at least injured in an attack as well. I want the next guy to step up. So with all this distraction, last thing, give me 30 seconds on this. All this distraction from the left, from Schiff, from Pelosi, from these idiots that won't stop until they get what they think they want out of this guy. He's still taking care of business. David, he's doing exactly what he promised you he would do, what he promised me he would do, my listeners, the viewers, everybody who reads your articles. I mean, this guy is doing exactly what the bidding is of the American people. Is he in trouble next year? The media wants us to believe he is.
No, he's not in trouble. But, nothing's given in an election. So we're going to have to really fight to get him across the finish line again. But here's the thing. His ability to compartmentalize is off the charts. He can do numerous things at one time. I'm proud of this guy. The country is proud of him. I think he'll be okay. But again, nothing is for granted in an election. So just be prepared to fight to get him across the finish line. If he does, I'll tell you what, it's game, set, and match for the left if he wins re-election.
I agree with you. We'll keep talking to you about it. Thanks for the incredible information as always. Have a great one. I appreciate you, Sheriff. Sheriff, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, Sheriff David Clarke, we'll have him on again very soon. Back after this in the Joe Pags Show. Stay here. All right, great to have you the Joe Pags Show on your radio, on your TV. Thanks a lot for stopping by. On your stream, wherever you happen to be listening or watching, we appreciate you. Always appreciate Sheriff David Clarke, and go check out his latest column that he wrote for townhall.com. You can find it at americassheriff.com, americassheriff.com, no apostrophe, because apostrophes don't work when it comes to a www. Carrie, why did we never go to www?
I don't know. Should have, though,
It is
right?
kind of hard to say www, isn't it? I mean, that's not easy.
Yes, it is. It is not.
Or tridub.
These are not easy.
Tridub.
Tridub, that's even better. Mm-hmm.
Dub squared. Or dub, not squared, cubed.
Yes.
Dub with a small... Polo, you got something? You look like you got something.
Well, I was just going to say, when you said the first way, sounded like you were an old muscle car.
Like the way the car was starting like that. Yeah. No, I got that. No, I'm with you. That's what I was doing. You actually sniffed it out. That's exactly why I messed up www. You ever have that lesson, Carrie? You started in radio. This is how you say W.
Yes,
Most
I
people
did.
say-
When I
most people
first
say
started
W.
working here,
W.
yes, I had the hardest time. You don't realize how hard it is, so you got to say it all the time.
It's two words. W.
W. Yes.
And some people say it better than
W.
others. They're like, really, W. All right, so you go to the web, you go to americassheriff.com, and you'll see his columns. You'll see how to get some merch. I don't know if he's selling... You think he's selling the cowboy hats? He should.
Absolutely, I think you should.
Check out his columns. Check out all that stuff. In the meantime, let me tell you about Raycon. It is a wireless world. You need a great pair of wireless earbuds. They're Bluetooth. They connect very easily. They sound great. Raycon is the kind I have. They start at about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds on the market. They sound just as good as these premium earbuds. They, in fact, to me, are premium, but they don't cost premium prices. Raycon's latest model, the E25s, are their best ones yet. You get 6 hours of playtime. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, as I said, more bass, a more compact design, gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Unlike some of your other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet. No dangling wires or stems. That's a big deal for me. Perfect for on-the-go listening and for taking phone calls, too. Raycon was co-founded by Ray J. He's a musician, so the sound really matters. Get 15% off right now because you watch or listen to my show. 15% off buyraycon.com/PAGS, BUYRAYCON.com/PAGS. 15% off right now. Raycon, get them at buyraycon.com/PAGS. Get her done. Phone calls rolling in, 888-941-PAGS, joepags.com. Much more coming your way. Great stories to get to. Your phone calls as well. Got to go on TV. We're back tomorrow. We continue on radio. Stay right here.